Middle East conflict is over and America has won. At least President Trump is saying so. But then comes an uncomfortable question that if war is over, then why are not the objectives are complete? Because this was not an open-ended war. This war started with clear mandate, the change of regime, complete nuclear dismantlement and complete destruction of Iran's missile capabilities. And later on, one more point was added, that opening of Strait of Hormuz. That was the pitch. That was the justification. But now the narrative have changed to victory. But scoreboard is saying something else. At least in this round 2, Iran seems to be winning. Now look at the diplomacy track. The first round of negotiation didn't fail because there wasn't a progress made, but because there was a difference in expectation. The US demanded complete dismantlement of nuclear program, zero enrichment and complete compliance. Iran responded that first lift the sanctions, unfrozen our assets and stop bombing on Lebanon. The negotiations got stuck and US left the table and said that we are going to do a naval blockade of Strait of Hormuz. But here is the paradox. The Strait of Hormuz was already closed, restricted and commercial ships were avoiding it. Then how a blockade would change anything? On ground, almost nothing. It was meant to cut down the revenue stream of Iran. But then China entered the picture and it says very clearly and firmly that we have a long-standing agreement with Iran on energy and our ships are going in and out of Strait of Hormuz swiftly. In case any of our ship will be blocked in international waters, then it would be considered as an act of war. So message ekdam saaf tha, stop us if you can. So effectively the blockade has changed nothing much and the Strait of Hormuz is still very much closed. And now the Lebanon and Israel has also announced a 10-day ceasefire. But the million-dollar question here is whether this ceasefire would sustain or not. When the expectation of both the parties involved are very different and their agendas are not aligned, we have seen in the history that such ceasefire are very fragile. Now bring this back to the investors. We are into a phase where information is constant and narratives are shifting fast and variables are adding every single day. Definitely elevated crude prices are a concern, especially for economic like India who is heavily reliant on energy imports. Yes, there will be more volatility in near term. But zoom out a little. India's growth story is still intact. India's domestic demand, capex cycle and financial stability, that all are in place. And going forward, one thing is very clear, that self-reliance is no longer an option. It has become a necessity. That is why the sectors like energy and defense are no longer as cyclical opportunities. They have become a strategic play for future, positioned for a more uncertain global order.